How's it going, guys? And as promised, I'm here with your crown jewel review. So, it's really nice to be able to, watch this show after the fact. Come home from work, pretty much watch it from start to finish, but skip through all the entrances and it kind of flies by. So in a way, I was kind of happy that I wasn't able to watch it because it wasn't really on at a really accessible time for most human beings. So what did I think of this show? It was good, sort of. Because, the good was, so spaced out. I mean, we'll just get right into it. Edge defeated Rollins in the opening Hell in the Cell match. So, first of all, this is like a WrestleMania. We're doing this in the stadium. We're in Saudi Arabia. We've got all the fireworks. There's huge displays. I mean, at this point, it's kind of like this is almost like a second WrestleMania because they've got everything decked out, extra big stage. I mean, this is kind of like the WrestleMania for Saudi Arabia. But this match right here, I mean, this was, as expected, a great Hell in a Cell match. And I just wrote down a few things because I didn't want to miss anything. But the table spot was magnificent. I've never seen anything quite like that where Edge pushes Rollins, who's facing back with his back towards the ring, with his back towards Edge. Edge pushes him off, smacks into the cage face first, then lands through a table that had been set up at ringside. I don't know, but that was one of the smoothest transitions. I just know if that was done anywhere else, except for these guys and the WWE, if this was done in AEW or done on the indies, it probably would have been fucked up and the person would have probably been seriously injured. A dangerous spot that looked just, it looked glorious. I mean, it looked dangerous, but it looked nice and clean. And it looked, Rollins landed pretty well. So that was nice to see that when something, that spectacular, something that hardcore comes together and it looks real good like that. Also, I really enjoyed, you would think kind of in concept it would sound a little bit cheesy, a little goofy to have Rollins wrapping his foot with the chain. But, it actually, it felt really original and it actually ended up looking pretty good. Instead of actually slapping your leg, make the sound, it's kind of cool to actually, wrap a chain around your fucking foot and kick the other person in the face. Thought that was pretty brutal looking. And of course, the finish with Edge hitting the stomp on Rollins, which was pretty poetic. I mean, the only thing, and I know they're trying to get away from this, but I just really wish we could use fake blood. I'm just saying, just how much more drama would this have been if when Rollins, Rollins is smacking him in the face with a chain. The fact that Edge is not bleeding with a crimson mask, as JR would say, to me, it's just really unrealistic is what I'm saying. I mean, I get it. It's the world of wrestling. People are wrapping chains around their feet. But it just would have came off better. But for what it was, can you really say that this wasn't a good match? I'm really against putting matches of this caliber in the opening slot, by the way. This has always bothered me. This is one of the few feuds in recent memory, in years, I have to say, really years, where they've actually put time and effort into building this, with Rollins going to his house. Remember when they tried doing this? I think I mentioned in my review with Samoa Joe and AJ, and it just didn't work out. I mean, Joe didn't go in the house. It was really cheesy. AJ with the bad acting. I mean, here you actually had some good shit headed into this match, which, it just shows story and match and the improvement of Rollins. Everything has been gelling very well. I mean, this is probably one of the most successful storylines and feuds I've seen in a while, and one of my favorites. And I can't believe I'm actually saying that. From the modern era of wrestling, I can't really think of something. I mean, go back in my reviews. When's the last time you actually heard me praising a storyline playing out to this magnitude? Have they hit all the right notes? No, they could have done better. You know, I'm not a big fan of, you know, on SmackDown last week of them being like just rebuttals, like one segment for this guy, one segment for that guy. You know, Rollins could wait all that time, you know, while Sasha Banks cuts a promo. You know, but go watch my SmackDown review for those complaints. But yeah, a good match. And I mean, as far as an opener goes, like, how the fuck do you top that? That's what I'm going to say. Like, how the hell do you top that match? We've got Mustafa Ali and, you know, against Mansoor. I'm looking at this build-up. And I'm like, man, you know, if Mansoor wasn't from Saudi Arabia, like, who would give a shit about this guy? You know, they're giving him a pop. It's not even the biggest pop. I think, like, the last time they showed him, he got an even bigger pop than this. Like, when he wrestled Cesaro, wasn't that the last time that they were in Saudi Arabia? Here, this was, like, you know, a real, like, you know, a decent pop. Bigger than anyone really gets, you know, over in the States for, like, you know, normal guys of this caliber. But I'm watching this match, and it's not really like the match is bad or anything, you know, but it's a lot of, like, weak kicks. Like, I'm watching Mustafa Ali kicking, you know, Mansoor, and there's all these weak-ass little side kicks, you know, and, like, even, you know, just all these kicks just weren't hitting their mark. And then Mustafa Ali with the fired up, like, you know, the bug eyes, like, everyone thinks that they can just do this Hulk Hogan be fired up type of thing, and it just does not work. Anyway, at the end, we got, you know, Mustafa Ali gets beat by Mansoor, you know, with slingshot neckbreaker, I believe. So he hits that move. It's good enough for the pin. We've got Mansoor getting beat down after the match by Ali. Ali's beating him down. And then this guy who was in the Olympics, a silver medalist, I don't know who he is, but he got a big pop. He came out, starts arguing with Mustafa. By the way, before we even talk about this, like, you know, so he just basically ends up getting his ass kicked. He gets a nice kick to the side of the head. Then Mansoor kind of like absorbs, you know, the cheers from this silver medalist. And what the hell is up with Mustafa? And I wrote down this, like, because I didn't want to forget. Did he not look like Kazarni? Does anybody remember Kazarni, the guy with all the vignettes that went like nowhere, and he ended up just wrestling in a battle royal from like 2008 to 2009? This guy right here, I mean, he went like nowhere. Like, and the funny thing is about this guy, he, you know, he had like all this fanfare, and then they did like nothing with them. But Mustafa kind of channeled Kazarni here. He had this weird eyeshadow and his hair braided, but he didn't look as good as Kazarni. He just ended up looking kind of weird here. Like, I don't know, just also kind of feminine in a way with his really thin face and shaving his beard down really thin. It just did not look good to me at all. He looked like a weirdo, and it was not a good look. I mean, the last time I saw this guy, he actually looked kind of decent. But now, like, I don't know, they're trying to take his character. He's evil. Ooh, he's got the eyeshadow on. Ooh. I mean, like, I don't get it. It's the same thing with all these others. You know, the weird lipstick for the girls. You know, you've got Mace and everybody painting their face like you know, 2021, and we're painting our face. We got eyeliner. Like, you know what I mean? What is it, a Halloween party? I mean, yeah, I mean, Halloween's coming up, but they do this all year round. It was like Mojo Rawley started painting his face. Like, why? What's up with the painted faces? You know, you're not the Road Warriors. You're not Demolition. You're not Gold Dust. It only works for certain people. Now everyone thinks like, I painted my face. Now I have a character. What, the painted up goof? I mean, like, come on. This right here, I mean, you know, at the end, you got to give them credit. They brought out, you know, a celebrity, an athlete that people recognize and cheered for. But this match right here, like, you know, this is a match that, you know, you wouldn't even see on an American pay-per-view. You know, this two guys that, you know, they're Middle Eastern, so they throw them out there. And you got the Saudi guys, so, like, get them out there. Every pay-per-view, you got to get Mansoor out there, like it really matters. We've got Orton and Riddle defeating Almos and AJ. This was a pretty decent match, a cool entrance. You know, earlier we saw camels on the side of the ring entrance. And Matt Riddle disappears and reappears. He puts his scooter away, and he comes to the ring on a camel. I thought that, you know, like, if you're in Saudi Arabia, I think that's, like, one thing that they've never done in WWE. I mean, we've seen entrances in cars, motorcycles, floats, you know, little mini rings, you know, coming down like Shawn Michaels, you know, at WrestleMania 12. But we have never seen a camel. And that right there, I thought that was kind of cool. So that deserves credit. This was a pretty decent match. I mean, kind of average, you know, nothing really too special. You know, arcade. I always want to call them rated arcade bro for some reason. I'm just always, when I think tag team and Orton, that's what instantly comes to mind is Edge and Orton. But no, it's RK Bro. So yeah, RK Bro won here. And I don't watch Raw, as you all know, but like, how many times has this match happened? How many times have they done this match? Like, more times than you could count. Anyway, we get Cringey Lynch doing a little promo backstage, which was completely worthless. The Irish interviewer was back there, and she says, like, he's like a disgrace as a countryman. I don't know where this was going, you know, for such a charismatic star. What a forgettable promo. Can't even remember what the hell she said. Basically something to the effect that she's going to win the match. No originality. I don't know, just aimless promo, really. Then we've got the Queen of the Ring finals. It's Zelina Vega defeating Doudrop. And probably one of the most unrealistic finishes I ever did see. So how does she win this match? With a fucking code red on Doudrop. The girl's like fucking 350 pounds. And Zelina Vega, who barely weighs 100, soaking wet, is flipping her through the fucking air? I mean, you know, not everything else kind of played into her being heavier to lift. Like, so she's struggling to pull Doudrop to like the center of the ring to where she could pin her. Like, Doudrop should like chew her up and spit her out. She ain't Rey Mysterio. So, you know, there's no way, like, okay, but I know where this is going. So, you know, Doudrop, I mean, you know, if you wanted to make her any worse, you know, cover her up with like, you know, the long sleeves. I mean, we all know this is how the women have dressed ever since 2 years ago, because they didn't have a crown jewel last year. But back in 2019, this is how they all dressed. And, you know, we already know what to expect. So am I really going to sit here and harp on that? I mean, it does look absolutely horrific to see these girls, like, you know, Zelina Vega with this great body just covering it up. But, what am I... You kind of know this is going to happen, so what am I going to sit here and knock that? We all knew that coming in here. I mean, they're going to get chased the hell out of the country if they bear any skin. So, but like hands are okay. Like this part's okay, this part's not okay. You can't have this part. I don't know. Whatever. But it's historic. So that's all they're saying. It's historic. Doesn't matter if it's good. Doesn't matter if it's bad. It's historic. It's history. It doesn't matter. Anyway, just to say that they did it. So anyway, so Vega is now your queen of the ring, and she's got to wear that goofy crown. She tries to put on the cape, but I don't even think there was anything to latch it onto. The cheapest looking crown. They've even had the logo emblazoned on it. Like, it just makes it like the official WWE crown. I mean, not even Corbin or, Barrett or any of these people had that on their crown, but they got the official WWE crown now. So I can already see where this is going. So, you might be saying to yourself, and I was kind of saying like, wow, they made her job out. She's being punished. You went on Twitch, you tweeted stuff about unions. So we're going to come at you hard. You want your job back? Well, we're going to make you look like a fool, a loser on TV. Well, I was kind of saying to myself, wow, they're giving her a lot of wins, and now she's winning the tournament. Then I looked at her with that crown, and I says, oh yeah, I almost forgot. She's the fucking queen of the ring. So she's going to be going around with a goofy crown. They're going to be, doing all these, like, jokes. You already know what's going to happen with all these, like, King of the Rings. I mean, she's going to come out. She's going to be, it's a chance to have a character, right? But, like, we've seen this character 1,000 times from all different wrestlers, but we haven't seen it on a woman before. And to me, like, doesn't this kind of take away from, like, Charlotte Flair being, I don't know, what's her name? The Queen? Like, there's already a queen in WWE. She comes out with the robes, and she might not have a crown or anything, but she is the queen. She's supposed to be wrestling royalty because of Ric Flair. Like, okay, so... I don't know, but I just think that they're going to have her in like a bunch of lame comedy skits. They're going to make her look like a goof. They're going to make her look like a clown. So yeah, I don't think that it's like they've forgiven her. I think it's punishment time. Like, yeah, get ready. Because, when she's on Raw, where Raw's even goofier than SmackDown, think they're going to hit her hard with those lame skits. Trust me. I see it coming. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're going to be nice to her now. I doubt it. We got Goldberg defeating Lashley. And, what was a pretty... I thought it was a pretty good match. Lashley was working the leg on Goldberg. They do a lot of brawling. We get the tiresome spear through the barricade spot that is in every single Roman Reigns and even non-Roman Reigns Goldberg match. I mean, every match has to have that the timekeeper spot that's always got to break apart, a totally overused spot. But, no complaints. I mean, the spectacle was there, but Goldberg spearing Lashley off the stage through tables, that was a nice little way to end the match. I gotta say, everyone always complains about Goldberg and everything like that. But the thing is, like, I don't know where they plan to go from this. Like, I mean, they gave the win to Goldberg, and now there's Lashley, who they took the title off of. They gave it to Big E for some reason so he could goof around with it and still be part of New Day and still wear New Day attire. Rejoin with New Day even though he's a single star. And here we got Lashley, who's going to job out to, a part-timer. And, you all know I'm a Goldberg fan, but I just don't really see the point of it. I mean, they could put all this time and effort into building Lashley back up from losing the title, but have him lose to Goldberg, who we're probably not going to see for many months now. And I enjoyed the match, so, you know, it's not like I want to do double talk here, but I'm just saying, like, this is good for the short run for entertainment value. Like, I was entertained. Like, it was a fun match. I'm not going to lie and sit there like, no, Goldberg's old. I wasn't entertained. Like, no, I'm going to sit here and say I liked the match because I did. I'm sitting there. I'm like, okay, you know, I like it. The presence of Goldberg, of Lashley, I enjoyed it. It was better than the SummerSlam match. This was the payoff. But, you know, at the end of the day, you have Lashley losing in emphatic fashion, even with interference from Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. And we're even going backwards. Like, why did we break those guys up just to put them back together? Like, how stupid is that? A few months later, whoops, we made a mistake. Let's put them, like, why? Doesn't make any sense to me. How stupid does that look? That, like, there's going to be forgiveness for turning on them just a few months later? I mean, I guess, but, like, why do it in the first place? Then we've got Xavier Woods defeating Finn Balor to become the King of the Ring. So let me get this straight, folks. Finn Balor takes Roman Reigns to the limit, who, by the way, in the main event is going to go on with Brock Lesnar. He's beat everybody. He's been the champion for over a year. Takes him to the absolute limit. By an act of God, the top rope breaks and the demon Finn Balor spills to the ring below and Roman Reigns ends up beating him. Like, okay, so now he's going to go on and he's going to lose to a tag team guy. Because he's always wanted to be King of the Ring. This has been his dream, really. This has been his dream. It's always been his dream to walk around and look like a fucking goof, which he already does, by the way. You know, it's bad enough wearing a unicorn horn on your head for years, cosplaying, you know, in the wrestling business, you know, where it's supposed to be full of tough guys, but the guy prides himself, you know, like a lot of the stuff Xavier Woods likes, I've said this in the past, I like. You know, I've said you should probably separate your video game fandom, you know, and your love for anime and all this other stuff from the wrestling. Because I'm sorry, but when you cross this stuff over, it doesn't look good. It's the same thing with, you know, me liking the video game Undertale. Great game. Love that game. Love Toby Fox's work. I just did a review on here of Deltarune Chapter 2, if you haven't seen it. You know, so Brad, like, why is your complaint? Oh, it looks mad goofy when you come out to the ring with Undertale music. Because, like, you know, this is a testosterone-fueled form of entertainment, supposedly, or it used to be. And when you're coming out, it just seems fucking goofy. It really does. Like, it's the same thing with Muppets. I love the Muppets. I've been a fan of the Muppets since I'm a little kid, watching the Muppet Show and Muppet Babies and anything involving Jim Henson. But you don't bring that on the wrestling show. So this guy, you know, so he beats Balor. The guy who can hang with Reigns, he beats him. Even when he wasn't the demon, he was still beating. He was still just an inch away from beating Reigns. Remember when the Usos beat him up on SmackDown before the match? He came this close. And now Xavier Woods could just beat him, like, you know, and it's not like it was a bad match or anything. Like, no complaints about the match. But after the match, again, you know, they realize he goes to put on the cape. And he's acting all over the top. Like, this guy does not need to be any more goofy. So, yeah, like, someone didn't think this through with the cape. You know, Zelina Vega did the same thing. Tried to put the cape on. Couldn't put it on. You know, Xavier Woods kind of, jokes his way out of it. He makes a little joke. Oh, the cape fell off. Puts the crown on, the scepter, and says, I am king, and starts, like, making all these decrees and stuff and getting into the character. Like, seriously, this guy does not need to act anymore like a goofball. You know, there's nothing wrong with being the comedy guy. You know, Al Snow, Mick Foley even worked a lot of comedy into his act. But this is just full, all-around goofballishness. And he's not tough like Al Snow or Mick Foley. He doesn't look tough. He doesn't look like he could beat anybody up. So, like, the guy's just a joke. I'm sorry. He's a literal joke at this point. Now he's a walking, talking meme. Now he's a fucking king. So, like, what is this now? We've got the world. He's hanging out with the world champion, who we're going to talk about in a minute, who's still wearing the New Day stuff. So we'll just move on. Because, yeah, that's the next match. Big E defeating Drew McIntyre, which was another good match. I thought that this was pretty good. But, here's the other thing with both of these matches. I didn't even mention with the Xavier and Balor match. It's babyface versus babyface. So it's boring as fuck. It doesn't matter if the match is nice and crisp and has lots of nice moves. It's kind of has a boring element. Big E is as goofy as he's ever been. He's still doing a big wiggle. He has New Day printed right on his slinget. But this is a good match. I mean, and, there was a lot of good wrestling in this. I thought both guys, put on a really good performance. A lot of power moves, even doing some athletic stuff. But, I'm looking at this, and you got a nice, clean loss for McIntyre. The guy's headed to SmackDown to start over, to start anew. What a better way to just have him lose fucking clean. I have a very weird thing with Big E. I don't hate the guy like a lot of people do. I see online, we talk on Facebook in the wrestling groups. We all say, like, a lot of people say that, Big E's a goof. Is he a goof? Yeah, but unlike Kofi Kingston and especially Xavier Woods, Big E could actually be funny. We saw that on SmackDown with his laughing and everything, and, he can be entertaining, but he's hanging out with these guys, and they've been bringing him down for years. I mean, Big E is in amazing shape. The guy looks like a star. He could be a star. He's on the verge of being a star. He just needs to get rid of those two goofballs already. But for some reason, when they set him out on his own, they didn't do the right thing. No one turned on anybody. So there was always the possibility that they were going to get back together. And the possibility was always pretty good. It was only a draft away or a brand switch away. A wild card away. He was wearing their faces on his singlet, always with a New Day design. They changed his music, so they kind of made you believe, oh, well, maybe, but he was still doing the big wiggle. He didn't, and wasn't he still doing the New Day Rocks thing? I think he was still doing that, by the way. So they just got to get this guy serious already. Have him joke around once in a while, but just stop. Get him out of New Day. It's as simple as that. But now they've separated them again, but yeah, I feel like they're gonna still do some sort of crossovers. I don't get it. Like that's the thing. Why I'm saying that, it's like I'm kind of thinking about, they did separate them in the draft, but he's still wearing the New Day outfit. No one's saying goodbyes, so I feel like there still is going to be some type of a crossover. So we've got Cringey Lynch defeating Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. In this match, it was better than the SmackDown match, but it went back and forth between being just like annoyingly long, dragged out, 1,000 fucking kickouts. Bianca Belair, with the impressive strength. In my opinion, Bianca Belair is the best out of all these girls, because at least she has the power. she is one strong woman. I said that ever since I saw her pick up Otis. It's really just awe-inspiring at times. I mean, she really has that China level of strength. It's just too bad, she don't have that same aura about her. But, I guess that could change, if they stop having her skipping out to the ring and twirling her hair. The other really interesting thing is, like, she really kind of did an awkward, like, instead of doing an ass slap, she kind of did a side slap, like, more. You notice that? Like, I don't know. It's almost like she forgot where she was for a minute, because they're all dressed down in this one as well. All these finishers, Cringey Lynch is going for the rock bottom like 10 times. And of course it ends with a stupid roll up. Grab the rope. Oh, wow, what a powerful move. Always ending the match like this. It's like on SmackDown. You exhaust me with 1,000 fucking moves. And then it kind of just ends out of nowhere. I was like, man, when this thing came on second to last, I was like, I don't know what it was. I wanted them to get it out of the way already. I wanted to watch it for the review. It wasn't absolutely terrible, but they did. They blew a lot of spots. There was a lot of weird timing issues. Because the thing is, especially during these women's matches, it's super rehearsed. They've got to do everything in these matches. It's too fucking much. Do half of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Think about something. You have all these morons online saying, the work is so much better. No, the work is not so much better. It's just a bunch of goofballs doing 1,000 fucking moves and thinking it's a good match. And it's way too loaded up. No one's even selling anything. It's just one more, another move, and another move, and another move. And then you have awkward spots. The most awkward spot to me was when Bianca Belair was like going for a suplex, but Sasha went for a sunset flip, and there was like no incorporation of the sunset flip. Like Bianca kind of just turns and like awkwardly suplexes. Like, what the hell was supposed to happen there? Stop doing these Tower of Dooms, all these complicated spots that just don't look good. Just like, enough. Simplify it. That's why I'm saying it irks me to no end when you have all these morons on here. Even people that I personally like watching. He's not a moron. He's entitled to his opinion, and he's a good content maker. Wrestling with Regret. Who actually says the work rate was better now than it was during the Attitude Era. Oh my God. So you're telling me that these people are better workers than Kurt Angle, Triple H, Stone Cold, The Rock, Undertaker, Kane, Mick Foley. Yeah, no, these guys, nah. Chris Jericho, all these people, Hardy Boys, Dudley Boys, Edge and Christian. The work is better now, guys. It's better now. Like, what the fuck? No. Absolutely, positively, not even close. Then we get our main event, and it's a good main event. Without a doubt. Roman Reigns defeating Brock Lesnar. An interesting little finish there. I was kind of wondering how they were going to go about this, and I guess it was okay how they did it. I'm not going to say it was spectacular, but Paul Heyman, both guys are down. He throws the belt in the middle of them, and no one knows who he's throwing the belt to, and he says, you know what to do. Brock Lesnar ends up grabbing the belt. Roman Reigns ends up grabbing the belt. And then, of course, Michael Cole yells out, the tug of war! All of a sudden, I started having flashbacks to WrestleMania 31. I was like, oh, fuck no. No, but it was in the context of the match. Both guys were tired, so it was fine. I just thought, I don't know if they did that on purpose to show, these guys have come so far. I mean, it's best that you kind of just try to forget about that shit. But I don't know. I mean, I guess that was... I don't know if that was kind of a little Easter egg they threw in there. But if it was, I guess it was kind of cool. But Anyway, it ends. The referee is distracted. The Usos come in, double super kick. Roman grabs the belt, smashes Brock in the face, and gets the pin on Brock. Quite frankly, I was a little bit surprised at how long Brock sold that shot, like, after the match. Like, when they were closing out the show, I was like, I don't know, was he, like, selling it a little bit too long? It was just kind of, you know, I'm just saying, I guess they were tired. They hit each other with several spears and F5s. It wasn't nearly the amount that they did a few years back. I think it was WrestleMania 34 where they did like 5 finishers apiece, and it was kind of just a little bit too much over the top, I thought, kind of in retrospect. But like, yeah, this was a pretty good match. I mean, it was a good main event. So like, all around, I mean, you know, let's review. You had Edge and Rollins, a really good match, a great Hell in a Cell. You had a lot of boring, useless stuff like the, you know, King and Queen of the Ring that just had nothing there. Goldberg and Lashley was a fun, entertaining match. Big E and Drew McIntyre was a good match, you know, even though it's like there's nothing there because it's just two faces facing each other. Tag title match was okay, you know, average. Cringey Lynch, Sasha, and Belair, not the worst thing ever, not as tiresome as their SmackDown match, which wore me out and just was bad in my opinion. That it was tolerable, but still not great. And the main event was pretty good. So yeah, it was a pretty good show, I have to say, overall. A lot of crappy stuff in there, you know, but not like really awful, terrible, oh my God, my eyes kind of bad. Just like some stuff that, you know, wasn't the best. But hey, I thought you had several really good matches on here, and it was an enjoyable watch. It was 4 hours, way too fucking long. They really could have trimmed the fat on so many of these things, like, do we need to have a King of the Ring? Do we need to have a Queen of the Ring? Just so many of these things could have trimmed out. But, you know, I get why they were there. You know, it kind of gives it meaning, you know, the crowning of a new King of the Ring for this event, or whatever. Anyway, guys, let me know what you thought in the comments down below. Did you enjoy the show? Did you not enjoy the show? Did you absolutely hate the show? Or did you love it? Or you like me, like, it was pretty good. That's what I think. Anyway, please subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell so you get all the notifications when I post on my new videos. I want to thank all my patrons for your continued support. And thanks again, guys. I will see you next time.